everybody, it's Patty, and I'm finally back. You know, for those of you who watch me, I've been gone for about 3 weeks. Went on a little 2-week vacation with my husband. We went out to the Southwest and just had a great time. I sent you some video back from there, so you know we had a really fun time. We drove from Arkansas to Arizona, and up on the Utah border to visit his son. And while we were there, we did go to the Grand Canyon. We were right on the Grand Canyon. I think I sent you some video. It was my first visit out there, and it was, oh gosh, it was absolutely wonderful. But I tell you something, what I liked even better was we drove on up to Zion National Park, just north of the Grand Canyon National Park, and I think I liked it even better. At Zion, you actually are down in the canyons. You're down on the floor and you're driving. Whereas with the Grand Canyon, you're up above, either on the North Ridge or the South Ridge. We were on the North Ridge, looking down. Now, we did take a float trip, about a 4-hour float trip, on the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, but it was not the part that's real scary, that with all the rapids. So it was wonderful too. But like I say, I loved Zion, and I did not send any pictures from Zion. But I may, if I can, I'll attach some to the end of this video, because it's just totally different from the Grand Canyon. So we left there, drove to Albuquerque for a couple of days. We stayed at the Hard Rock Casino. I had to stop and think about it for a minute. The Hard Rock Casino, and great casino. Our room was wonderful. We won a little bit of money. We did a few things in Albuquerque, went down to Old Town, but Albuquerque was just not one of my favorite places that I've been. It's not a place that I would go back on purpose. From there, we stayed there a couple of days, then we drove up to Santa Fe, and Santa Fe was more than I ever even expected. I absolutely loved it. We're already talking about going back out there. It was absolutely beautiful. We got there about 10 o'clock in the morning and got checked in the little bed and breakfast. And I did send some videos if you want to see the video on Santa Fe. But that first afternoon after we got checked in, we went out to walk. And if you know anything, if you live there or around there, you know Canyon Road. So Canyon Road is straight uphill for a long way. It seems like 25 or 30 miles, but really it's not. It's probably just maybe a half a mile, but it's wonderful galleries on both sides of the street. So you're just, you know, walking up and looking in galleries. We came back down, and when we got back down, I was having a horrible time breathing. I mean, very short of breath. It's really hard to describe it. I thought something was wrong with me. I didn't say anything to my husband. I didn't want to feel like or act like a wimp. So we stayed at, piddled around the little bed and breakfast for a little while, and then we decided to walk about 3 or 4 blocks down to the plaza there in Santa Fe, and where all the vendors are set up. And so we went down there, and it was downhill, and coming back, it was everything I could do to get up that hill. I mean, I was in really bad shape. And we went out to dinner that night, and for the rest of the evening, I was seriously considering telling him that I thought I needed to go to the emergency room, maybe, or find a doctor, because I couldn't breathe. I didn't realize what bad shape I was in. I walk and I exercise, and I've read up on heart attacks in women, and the only real symptom that I was having was I just couldn't breathe. It was like I was gasping for breath. So still didn't say anything to him. I thought, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning and see how I feel. Well, the next morning we were having breakfast there, and there was a lady, another couple staying there, and they were having breakfast with us, and she mentioned these very same symptoms, that she didn't know what was wrong with her, that she might have to go to the emergency room because she couldn't breathe. She was gasping. And I went, well, I feel the same way. And my husband spoke up and said, well, it's altitude sickness. That's what's wrong with you. So it was sort of like a relief. Oh, okay, I think I can survive this. Heart attack, no. Altitude sickness, don't know anything about it, but I've sort of figured that can be cured or that can be fixed. So anyway, we went on throughout the day, and I continued. I mean, every place we went, I mean, of course, you're going up and down hills, and you're doing a whole lot of walking. And, it was just more of the same. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had lost my appetite when it came time for a meal. I just wasn't interested in eating. The night before, that first night, I slept just fine, but the second night, if I slept 30 minutes, that's stretching it. I was just not sleepy at all. That third day was just more of the same. No appetite, didn't sleep that night, real fatigued. It was just not good. So we left the next morning, and we were driving on to Aberdeen, I guess, and my husband said, are you feeling better? And I said, well, a little bit, not completely with my breathing, but a little bit. And so I thought, I said, what, I'm going to Google this and see how long it really does take to get over it. So I Googled it, and it said it took about 45 hours usually to get over it. But it also listed all the symptoms of altitude sickness, and there were several, and I had every single one of them. The insomnia, the no appetite, loss of appetite, fatigue, of course, shortness of breath. So I pretty much had it. The afternoon before we left, I had an appointment for a massage. And when I got over to get it, the girl was asking me a couple of health questions. And I did tell her that I had this. And she said, let me get you something. And she went and got me some chlorophyll tablets or capsules. And she said, take one now, take one in the morning, and you should be okay. The chlorophyll, I didn't realize it, but the chlorophyll helps your body to produce red blood cells, which is oxygen going to your brain. And that was something else I had that it listed was I was real foggy. I couldn't think clearly, which was, clearly not getting enough oxygen to my brain. Well, I thought, well, maybe it's just this blonde hair, but I guess it was lack of oxygen. So got the massage, and let me say this about the massage. I'm very lucky. I love to get massages, and in my lifetime, I've had a whole lot. I've had them everywhere, in nice spas everywhere. This was, without a doubt, the best massage I've ever had in my life. I got what's called, well, first of all, it was called Nirvana, was the name of the spa, and the girl's name was Pamela. And I got just the classical massage, and then I got what's called the Bliss package added onto it. And the Bliss package, and she started off with that, was a facial and a head massage with these wonderful oils. And she started off, immediately just touching. She did some Reiki. If you've ever had Reiki done on you, she did some Reiki, and she did some acupuncture. But my face, and then the head massage with the oils, oh my gosh. She even, there was a towel under my head, and she picked that towel up and pulled my head up off of the bed and started doing this by moving the towels, doing my, I don't even know how to tell you how wonderful this is. What I know for sure is that if I lived anywhere close, and I'm saying within 100, 200 miles of that place, I would be there on a regular basis, and I would have to sell my soul to afford it. But it was that good. It was by far the best. I thought I'd had some good ones, but it was by far the best massage I've ever had in my life. It was wonderful. So I did want to show you something about the altitude sickness. So when we got home and I was unpacking bags, this is what I unpacked. This was my L'Oreal cleansing conditioner. Look at it. And this has started to come out just a little bit. So that's that one. This Aveeno body lotion is, well, it's still squeezed together up here, but it was like this. had been so sucked in. And even my body wash was the same way. It's starting to come out now, but it was sucked all the way in. So that's, if it does that to bottles like that, just imagine what it was doing to my lungs, your lungs when you go there. Bothered my husband a little bit, but bothered me a whole lot. I didn't like it at all, but I will go back. I'll just learn to live with it. But I loved Santa Fe that much. Something else I want to talk to you about are vitamins. I think I've told y'all before that I'm not a pill taker. I'm very lucky in that I have no illnesses. Nothing's wrong with me, so I take no medicine for anything. And one of the reasons I'm not really taking vitamins very much, even though I'm a vegetarian, is I'm just not good at swallowing pills. I hate it. So I had heard Lana talk a long time ago about taking gummy bears. So I was at Walgreens about 3 weeks ago, and I thought, well, I'll go buy me some gummy bears. We're getting ready to travel and be gone so much this summer. Maybe I needed to do something. So I went to get the gummy bears, and instead, this is what I bought. They're by Vita Fusion, and they're like gummy bears. You can see them. This is the women's, and then I got the vitamin D in it, and I got calcium. And the calcium, they look different. They're like sugar. They look almost like sugar cubes, and they're coated, I guess, with sugar. And they are wonderful. Well, I brought them home and started taking them, and my husband noticed it, and I said, "Do you want one?" He said, "Well, yeah." So he started taking my vitamins. So I went back to Walgreens and looked, and they even have a men's. And I'm telling you, they're like eating candy. As a matter of fact, what we started doing, rather than taking them in the morning, is when we start having a sweet craving, we just go get a vitamin. I'm trying to make sure I take at least what I'm supposed to take every day, but I spread them out, and hopefully they're doing me some good that way. But it's rather than eating something, a dessert or a piece of candy or something like that, I'll just eat one of these, and it just sort of satisfies that sweet craving that you have. Now, one word of caution, didn't want to travel with these big bottles, so I put enough in for us to have enough to take with us in a Ziploc bag. And you can sort of see a little bit, but word to self and a little bit of caution to you, do not leave them in a hot trunk. This is what happens. So as soon as I realized this, we were still taking them, but we would just open this bag, and it's all melted together. So I don't know what's what, but we would just pinch off pieces and eat, except for the calcium, the ones that look like sugar cubes. You can sort of distinguish those, but don't do this or you'll get this. So still working on these to get them eaten. We don't know what we're taking, but they sure taste good. All right. One last thing I wanted to tell you is makeups. I have some new foundation that I'm using, and I think I like it. I first heard about it from Tammy on Uppy's Beads. It's the Dior Dior Hydra Life BB Cream. And I ordered it. It was here when I got back. This is it. Before we left to go on the trip, I was in Memphis, I think, and we went to Florida, and I was able to get some samples of this BB cream to try, and sweet talk the girls, and they gave me more than they should have. So I've had plenty of BB cream to last me, and I'm really liking it. When I first used it, I noticed, and I can count on one hand the number of pimples I've had in my life, but I noticed that I had some little tiny, hard, pimply like places, about 3 of them right here on my chin. And I sort of thought maybe it was the BB cream. Nothing ever breaks my face out. Didn't know, but they went away. I kept using it and they went away. So, as I said, I decided to order it. I ordered it before I left on this trip, and it was here when we got back. And I'm going to have to crack it open here in a few days because I'm almost out of all those samples that I was able to get. But, and I'll show you. Let me reach over. These are the kinds of samples that they give at Sephora. And these were full. I think I had 5 of them altogether, and they were just full. So great, great samples if this is something that you might want to try. It's a little pricey, and we'll just see. I think it was $56 or $58, but I do like it. So that's it for today. I am going to come back and do another video, so you'll probably see the same outfit and makeup. I was tagged by 2 different people on the same tag, so Confessions of a Beauty Guru. So I am going to do that. I'm going to come back and do it, and also I'm going to get as many videos done over this next week as I can, because we're leaving again a week from Sunday to go on that Mediterranean cruise. It's like we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, 7 countries, and spending some extra time in Barcelona on the front end and on the back end. So when we travel, it is, I can send some videos, but it's really hard for me to comment to you guys. So please forgive me. I love reading your comments, and I try to read them, but especially on this ship, we're going to have very limited internet service. So I'm going to try to get as many videos made as I can this week. And then if you will just forgive me about not responding to your comments, I'll appreciate it. I'm going to release them just one or maybe one a day or one every other day while we're gone. So, but I probably won't be responding to any comments because of the limited internet service. Something, a light just came on my camera. I hope everything is okay. So I better go ahead and cut this short. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, I bet you know how. That little button right up there at the top. And you leave the comments down here. Love, love, love reading them. And I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.